Thank you. What I always try to focus on is making sure the clients enjoy working with us. If they do, they'll want to come back to us again. I see. If you keep that in mind, I believe you can win over any client. Her strong sense of purpose in her work always dazzled me. I felt proud to know someone like her. One day, Sarah asked me, Chris, with all this overtime, don't you have trouble finding time to go on dates? You don't have to worry about that. I don't have a girlfriend. Oh, I see, she said, looking a little awkward. So I added, well, I'm pretty much just a boring guy who's only good at being serious. Being serious, that's really important. It shows in how you approach work too. One day, someone will appreciate your seriousness. You think so? Yeah. If you ask me, being serious is the best quality in a husband. It wasn't until later that I understood what Sarah really meant when she said that being serious was the best. Over time, Sarah and I started talking about personal things. Our conversations grew more intimate, and I even felt like we were getting closer. Sarah, you're married, so it must be tough juggling work and everything else, right? Chris, I'm a single mother. What? I was shocked. I had always assumed Sarah was living a happy married life, but to find out she had been through a divorce. Yet, despite everything, she carried on at work like always. That's why I couldn't even notice how much Sarah had been struggling. I felt ashamed of myself for not realizing. Suddenly, the emotions I'd been holding back seemed to burst out all at once. Sarah spoke to me, saying, my daughter's name is Hannah. She's 9 years old now. I know I'm her mom, but she's really bright for her age. Just seeing her smile makes me feel like I can keep going every day. Hannah is the reason I can keep pushing forward. Her face, radiating the strength and tenderness of a mother, looked so beautiful. I found myself even more captivated by Sarah. That's why I was so determined to succeed at work and produce results as quickly as possible. I actively emulated Sarah's methods, absorbing every bit of sales knowledge I could. I started to think that once I achieved some real success, I'd finally be able to confess my feelings to her. My feelings grew stronger each day, swelling more and more. It got to the point where I could barely handle them myself. One day, with a slightly clouded expression, Sarah confided in me, I only got divorced recently. It's tough being a single mom. Although Sarah clearly had personal struggles, she never let them show at work. She never mixed her personal life with her job. Despite the difficulty she was facing, she kept giving her all. I found myself wondering if I should step further into her personal life. Then one day, Sarah handed me a book, saying, Chris, you should read this. It really helped me with my sales, and I'm sure you'll find it useful too. With that, she passed me the book. Thank you. I'll borrow it. That night, I stayed up reading it. I read it over and over, determined to make sure I fully understood it, vowing to apply it to my work. Just as Sarah had said, the techniques in the book were invaluable for my future in sales. I immediately put the techniques from the book into practice without hesitation. As a result, I started to see my efforts pay off, with my performance gradually improving. My relationships with clients improved, and my sales performance started to rise. One day, I decided to return the book to Sarah at her home. I called her, saying, thank you so much for the book the other day. Thanks to you, my sales numbers are going up. I'd like to return the book now. You can just bring it to the office, she said. But I couldn't let it go. I bought a cake from a newly opened shop that had great reviews and headed to her house. Sarah's house wasn't too far from my apartment, it was about a 15-minute walk. As I walked, lost in thought, I soon arrived at Sarah's home. I felt a bit nervous, but I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. Finally, I pressed the doorbell. Yes, who is it? A sweet, cheerful voice answered. It was Hannah, Sarah's daughter, answering in her place. I'm Chris from Sarah's office. Mom. It's Chris. Thank you, Hannah, I heard Sarah say through the door, and I couldn't help but smile. A moment later, the door opened. Chris, thank you for going out of your way, Sarah said, welcoming me with a smile. Hannah peeked out from behind her. She looked just like her mom. Nice to meet you, Hannah. I'm Chris. Thank you for always taking care of my mom. I could see why Sarah said she is so smart, even though she's only 9, I thought, she's such a confident and articulate kid. I'm the one who's grateful for all the help. When I said that, Hannah looked at Sarah and tilted her head with a smile, as if to say, I told you so. The other day, she lent me a book. Sarah, please enjoy this with Hannah, I said as I handed the box of cake to Sarah. Thank you. This is from that new cake shop, right? Yes. Hannah and I were just saying we wanted to try it sometime. Great. Thanks so much, Chris. I watched the two of them with a smile. I suddenly wondered, I hope Hannah's first impression of me was okay. But when I saw Hannah waving and saying, bye, Chris. Take good care of my mom, okay? I felt relieved. Bye, Hannah. I could feel the distance between Sarah and me getting closer, and it made my heart race. Talking to Sarah after work and our chats during breaks were becoming something I really looked forward to. Chris, that cake was so good. Hannah loved it and told me to thank you. I'm so glad she enjoyed it. She looked so happy. I wish you could have seen her cheeks practically bursting with joy. Seeing Sarah's happy face made me feel happy too. Let's keep doing our best together, she said with a smile. I found myself even more drawn to Sarah, feeling my feelings for her growing stronger by the day. But I could tell that she was struggling to balance work and family. I was starting to really want to support Sarah, a single mom, with all my heart. Every time I saw that tired smile of hers, it looked like she was holding back tears. And each time, I thought, Sarah, you don't have to push yourself so hard. It's okay to cry when things are tough. Cry if it helps you smile again tomorrow. These feelings were always locked inside my heart, but I genuinely wanted to protect that smile of hers. At the same time, I felt a strong desire to support not just her work but her life too. One weekend, I got a call from Sarah. What? Sarah's calling me on her day off? I wonder what's going on. Feeling confused, I quickly answered the phone. Hello, it's Chris. Help. Mom collapsed. She looks like she's in pain. It was her daughter, Hannah, on the phone. What? I could hear her sobbing on the other end. Hannah, wait. I'm coming right now. Grabbing only my wallet and phone, I rushed to Sarah's house. After ringing the doorbell, a tearful Hannah opened the door. Chris, my mom is. My mom is. I rushed inside and found Sarah unconscious. Sarah. Sarah. I called her name, but she was unresponsive. Thankfully, she was still breathing. I immediately called for an ambulance and did my best to help by placing her in a recovery position. Before long, the ambulance arrived, and I got in with Hannah. Her face was filled with worry. No matter how mature she seemed, she was still just 9 years old. Her only parent had collapsed, and she must have been terrified and overwhelmed with fear.